What's up, guys? This is Chris from DraftDashboard.com. Here are my DFS picks for NFL Week 9, Monday Night Football. These picks apply for DraftKings and FanDuel. Before I get started, please drop a like on this video and hit that red subscribe button and hit that bell icon so you don't miss our new videos. Okay guys, in this video, I'm going to give you my top DFS picks for this Monday Night Football showdown between the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Chicago Bears. And if you stick around to the very end of this video, we'll use the Draft Dashboard tools to make a DFS lineup using the picks we just made. Oh, and good news guys, make sure to stay tuned to the very end of this video because we removed the box that was popping up and blocking the lineup. So now you can see a full lineup using these picks that we made in this video if you stay to the very end. Okay guys, let's take a look at this Monday Night Football showdown between the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Chicago Bears. So at the quarterback position, now Ben Roethlisberger, he is only 200 more DraftKings salary than Justin Fields, so I wouldn't blame you if you go with Ben Roethlisberger, but take a look at this. He's only averaging 14.3 fantasy points per game on the season. He scored 15, 12, and 17 fantasy points in the last 3 games. He's going to be about 53% owned, projected at 15.4 fantasy points here tonight. He's 10,600 DraftKings salary. Vegas thinks there's going to be 39 points scored in this game, with the Pittsburgh Steelers favored by 7. So I have a feeling that the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to take the lead in this game. So my strategy for this slate, I'm probably not going to play Ben Roethlisberger. Now I'm talking about if I'm just playing one lineup here. I'm probably going to go with the running back, Najee Harris from the Pittsburgh Steelers. And then the quarterback I'm going to play, so I can stack him up with some wide receivers, is Justin Fields from the Chicago Bears. And Justin Fields scored 29 fantasy points last game. He got 10 rush attempts. He's going to be about 40% owned, and he's 10,400 DraftKings salary. So with the Chicago Bears expected to be trailing by a touchdown, I think this is going to turn into a passing game script for Justin Fields, and I do like the wide receivers that I can play him with to save some salary and possibly play Najee Harris as my captain. So I like Justin Fields here versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. Okay, so at the running back position, my top running back and probably my captain on this slate is Najee Harris from the Pittsburgh Steelers. And the Chicago Bears have the 11th worst defense overall. The 9th worst defense overall. And they're middle of the pack defending opposing running backs. Najee Harris has averaged 21.2 fantasy points per game on the season, getting an average of 18.3 rush attempts per game and 7 pass targets per game. He's going to be about 69% owned. He's on the field for 86% of the snaps, projected at 19.5 fantasy points here tonight. Before I continue with the picks, I'm excited today because we added a new contest for everyone watching. If you want to enter the drawing for $25 PayPal, all you need to do is like this video, hit that subscribe button, and make a quick comment below to be entered into the drawing. We'll reply to a random comment and let you know that you won. And we'll send you $25 PayPal. So it's that easy, and we pick a new winner every Saturday and announce them in our video. So get your comment in now so I can add another entry for you. And he's 12,400 DraftKings salary, but the reason that you got to pay up for Najee Harris is because he's the clear-cut stud on this slate. And take a look at this volume over the last 3 games. Okay, so he scored 21, 25, and 25 fantasy points in the last 3 games off of 26, 24, and 23 rush attempts, also getting 3, 7, and 5 pass targets in those games. So he's getting close to 30 touches a game for the last 3 games, and I'm expecting that volume to continue here tonight. So I like Najee Harris here versus the Chicago Bears. Now, if you do want to go for a running back with the Chicago Bears, who's getting some pretty decent volume himself, take a look at Khalil Herbert from the Chicago Bears. Now, the Pittsburgh Steelers have a pretty good defense versus the run, and Khalil Herbert, he scored 9, 21, and 19 fantasy points in the last 3 games, off of 23, 18, and 19 rush attempts, also getting 2, 5, and 3 pass targets in those games. So he's getting close to 23 to 25 touches the past 3 games. So that's some pretty big volume as well. And he's only going to be about 13% owned. So he is an interesting play, projected at 9.3 fantasy points here tonight. And he's 8,200 DraftKings salary. If I'm going to play multiple lineups, I'd have one with Khalil Herbert because he does get a lot of volume and he could break through that defense. And at only 8,200 DraftKings salary, if he scores close to 20 fantasy points, he's going to be a great play. So I like Khalil Herbert here versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. Okay, let's take a look at the wide receiver position. The wide receiver stud on the slate is Deontay Johnson from the Pittsburgh Steelers, playing the Chicago Bears, who have the 9th worst defense overall, and they give up the 2nd most fantasy points to opposing wide receivers. Deontay Johnson has averaged 18.5 fantasy points per game on the season, getting an average of 10.5 pass targets per game. He's on the field for 85% of the snaps. He's going to be about 53% owned, projected at 17.2 fantasy points here tonight. He's 11,200 DraftKings salary, and he scored 16, 19, and 15 fantasy points in the last 3 games, off of 13, 13, and 2 pass targets. So he's getting quite a bit of volume the past couple of games, and he's got a great matchup here tonight. So if I do play a lineup, if I'm playing multiple lineups, and if I play Ben Roethlisberger, I'm definitely going to stack him up with Deontay Johnson here versus the Chicago Bears. Now, if you want to save some salary at the wide receiver position with another Pittsburgh Steeler wide receiver, take a look at Chase Claypool from the Pittsburgh Steelers, and he's averaging 13.2 fantasy points per game on the season, getting an average of 7.8 rush attempts per game, and he's on the field for 81% of the snaps. He's going to be about 39% owned, projected at 12.9 fantasy points here tonight. He's 9,000 DraftKings salary, so you're saving 2,200 salary if you come off of Deontay Johnson, and he's scored 10, 4, and 27 fantasy points in the last 3 games, off of 5, 7, and 6 pass targets. So not as much volume as Deontay Johnson.
Real quick, guys, I got great news. For a limited time, we're offering a full 30-day trial to Draft Dashboard. You can try all the tools for NFL. NBA is right around the corner. This is a great time to get in and try everything for 1 month. The tools are all about saving research time. You can see the last 3 games, the fantasy points per game, the targets they got per game, so you can see how involved they are in the offense, the rushes they got per game. Seeing all this stuff on one screen helps you save time and make better picks. Oh, and if you're tired of doing research every day, we just added a cheat sheet that shows hand-picked plays for the slate. No confusing stat lines, no headaches, just a simple cheat sheet that shows the absolute best players for your lineups.
But he's also got a good matchup here tonight, so I like Chase Claypool here versus the Chicago Bears. Okay, now my strategy on this slate, like I said, Najee Harris at the captain position, and then gonna go with Justin Fields, and I'm gonna stack him up with a couple of these Chicago wide receivers and save some salary. So then maybe I could fit a Chase Claypool in there as well. So I like Allen Robinson from the Chicago Bears playing the Pittsburgh Steelers, who have a middle-of-the-pack defense overall, and they give up the 8th most fantasy points to opposing wide receivers. Now, Allen Robinson, he's only averaged 7.4 fantasy points per game on the season, getting an average of 5.5 pass targets per game, but he is on the field for 85% of the snaps, and he's going to be about 34% owned, projected at 9.3 fantasy points here tonight. He's $7,200 DraftKings salary. And with the Chicago Bears expected to be trailing in this game, I think he's going to get plenty of pass targets, and I hope he finds the end zone. So I like Allen Robinson here versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, another wide receiver from the Chicago Bears, although he was limited in practice on Saturday heading into this game, I like Darnell Mooney from the Chicago Bears, and he's averaged 10.5 fantasy points per game on the season, getting an average of 6.6 pass targets per game. He's on the field for 86% of the snaps, and he's going to be about 37% owned, projected at 10.4 fantasy points here tonight. He's $6,400 DraftKings salary, and he scored 12, 6, and 16 fantasy points in the last 3 games off of 9, 5, and 8 pass targets. So keep an eye on that injury status, but I like Darnell Mooney here versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. Okay, now if you want to save some salary at the wide receiver position, take a look at Marquise Goodwin. Now, he hasn't played well, but the last 3 games, he got 3, 4, and 1 pass target. And this is a sleeper pick, guys. He's only going to be about 7% owned, but he's also only $4,200 DraftKings salary. He's getting some targets. He's got a good matchup here versus the Steelers' pass defense. So, as a deep sleeper pick or a sleeper pick, I like Marquise Goodwin here versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. Okay, let's take a look at the tight end position. I like Pat Freiermuth from the Pittsburgh Steelers, and Pat Freiermuth. Wow, that last name is an interesting one. Pat Freiermuth, he's averaging 7.7 fantasy points per game on the season, getting an average of 3.3 targets per game, but he did score 14 and 13 fantasy points the last 2 games, and he got 7 targets in each of those games. He's going to be about 28% owned, projected at 9.1 fantasy points here tonight. He's $7,000 DraftKings salary. So although he does have a tough matchup, the Chicago Bears are the best overall defense defending opposing tight ends. So that might make me shy away a little bit from Pat here tonight. But if he does fit into your lineup because of your salary constraints, I think you can get by with him getting close to 7 pass targets the past 2 games. So I don't mind Pat Freiermuth here versus the Chicago Bears. But now the tight end that I would play if I'm going to play a tight end on this slate is Cole Kmet from the Chicago Bears. And he scored 5, 9, and 9 fantasy points in the last 3 games off of 6, 6, and 5 pass targets. And he's on the field for 84% of the snaps. He's going to be about 19% owned, projected at 7.6 fantasy points here tonight. And he's only $5,800 DraftKings salary. So I like Cole Kmet here versus the Pittsburgh Steelers.
If you want to try all these daily fantasy tools for yourself, click the link in the description below this video or just go to draftdashboard.com. You can use our DFS lineup optimizer to build quality lineups using our picks and your own custom player pool. Click the link in the description below this video and try all these daily fantasy tools right now. Thanks so much for watching. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit that bell icon so you can get instant updates whenever we post a new video. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Oh, and please comment below with your favorite player for this NBA slate. I love to hear what you guys have to think. Thanks again, and good luck.